Right, so welcome everyone to midweek meditation. I am Wendie Bernstein Lash. We're in week 8, so finishing up the second month of offering these weekly meditations. I want to honor the land that I'm on. I live in Redwood City, California. And it doesn't seem to be recording. Let me try this again. Let's see if that works. Yes, it's recording. Okay. So welcome, and I want to honor the land that I'm on. I'm in Redwood City, California, which is historically the Lamshan tribelet of the Ramaytush people who are part of the Ohlone Costanoan language group. And if you want to honor the land that you're on and you want to say where you're coming from, you can pop it into the chat and I'll look at it later. In general, if you're relatively new to meditation, I invite you to be compassionate and kind with yourself. This is an ongoing process and spiritual practice that develops over time. And so wherever you are and whatever you experience is wonderful because you're giving yourself the time to dip into this practice. And you can always reach me through my website, wendielash.com, if you have questions about your meditation practice. And today I decided, I was thinking, what is going to be the focus of the meditation? And I decided it was going to be forgiveness. And part of the reason is I need that. And I think we all need that. Last week I had 2 separate instances of friends who were angry with me about something. And it's hard to let go of that. I know I try, and I've mostly done it, but just how hard the process is, even though I've been working at this for decades through meditation practice. And so recognizing I could maybe have been a bit more skillful in that might have helped. And also recognizing that I'm human and it's okay that we're not always as skillful as we'd like to be. We can set a nice high bar for being attentive to others' needs, and sometimes we're just not there. So what I find is forgiveness meditation stops that cycle for me and allows me, instead of replaying over in my head about either grumble, 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 how could they have gotten angry at me? I didn't do anything, or grumble, grumble, grumble. I wish that I could have been better and, not been in that place that I was in where I wasn't really listening, or I wasn't really compassionate, or I wasn't prepared for, I wasn't recognizing that, this is a really tough time and people are going to be more sensitive and things are going to spark people more so than 3 or 4 months ago. And so when we think about forgiveness, what we're really trying to do is to the same thing that we're trying to do in all meditation, which is bring us into the present moment. And when we're holding on to something either that we did or somebody did to us, then we're bringing the past into the present moment. And so meditation allows us to stop that process and recognize in this moment, to let go of what it is that from the past that we're bringing in, and to be more in the present. And so this is a little precursor. I've actually, because I do things for the Jewish month of Elul, which is the month before the High Holy Day season. It's actually starting on the secular calendar in August. And so I'm just starting to think about what I'm going to offer. I actually am part of a created and will be creating a podcast and, some daily practices through Judaism Unbound, who are the people who started the Jewish Live platform that this meditation is part of. And so I'm already thinking about that. And there's a big piece of the High Holy Day season, which is about forgiveness. So we can maybe think about it as we're getting a little bit of a head start. We're going to be in the, you know, ready beforehand. And so we'll look at forgiveness again during the month of Elul and during the high holiday season. But this is a good opportunity to recognize continually, this is a great process. And actually Judaism has a particular holy time that I would say the majority of Jews, probably 99% of Jews don't know about, which is actually something called Yom Kippur Katan, which is a little tiny Yom Kippur at the beginning of every month as part of the celebration of a new month. We get a chance to say, ooh, you know, like, is there some kind of forgiveness that I need to do? Is there some kind of tshuva? We'll talk about that later as we get closer to the high holy days. But that returning to myself, or that turning inward and being reflective. So it's not just the month before and the season of the high holy days, but it's actually every month that Judaism has practices. It's just they're not particularly well known among liberal Jews, among many Jews. So coming back to forgiveness and preparing for the season of forgiveness, the Kabbalah talks about how the body is part of, you know, the body has its wisdom, and that's why we do certain spiritual practices, and that every action that we have, every feeling that we have, every thought that we have actually comes from the divine, from sacred, from, you know, the mystery beyond that many name God. And so if we look at our actions and thoughts and the actions and thoughts of other people, even though they may have caused harm, we also can recognize that how could this piece of us that is challenging, or that piece of a friendship that is challenging, not actually hold some possibility for the sacredness. And I think I talked about this a few weeks ago. Kabbalah talks about a klipa, a covering or a husk, and that we all have these divine sparks that are just inherently part of all of creation. And our job is to let go of those husks so that divinity can come forward. And so that's what we're doing in forgiveness, is letting go of some husk that's stopping us from recognizing our own sacredness and our own humanity, and the sacredness and the humanity in someone else. So as we work on the places that are challenging for us to let go of and to forgive ourselves, or to forgive another, we're actually liberating these divine sparks and creating a better world, doing tikkun olam by just doing our work. So that's a lovely way to think about it. There's 4 kinds of forgiveness in the high holiday season. We talk about forgiving others for the way that their behaviors and actions and words have caused us pain. Forgiving ourselves for any way that we have caused harm or pain to another, forgiving ourselves to any harm that we've done for ourselves. And the last one then, and that's really the high holy day period between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, as we work on those first 3 during Elul, so that on that last 10 days of the Yamim Norim, the days of awe, we can actually ask for God's forgiveness and really feel that we've completely let go and have started the new year fresh. Today, I think we're going to leave that last part for the season of forgiveness. And we're just going to focus on the first 3, which is forgiving others for ways that they've harmed us or that we're holding on to harm, forgiving ourselves for any way that we have caused harm, and then forgiving ourselves to any harm that we do to ourselves, especially by holding ourselves up to some standard that is just impossible to meet because we're human and we're imperfect. The last few things I'd like to say about forgiveness is that it can't be forced. So we do, like meditation, we do a practice, and sometimes we're like in the groove, in the zone, feel like I could completely be in that meditation and let go of my thoughts. I had moments. And there are other times where it's just really challenging and struggling. And forgiveness is the same way. So we do it, we kind of till the soil or prime the pump so that there's the possibility of forgiveness that will come to us as a not, we do the effort, but we don't expect the return to be right now. So, like other kinds of meditation practice, you may not feel in this moment that you get to the place of letting go, really, truly letting go, or you may let go for a little bit and grab it back the next day or the next moment and have to do it again. That doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. That means that, you know, we can't force it. It's an organic process. And when we're ready, we can let go more fully. And so I invite you, if this doesn't feel like it's comfortable, to take this practice and continue it, and to just see where, how, and where your heart is moved today, and with the possibility that the forgiveness that you're seeking for yourself or for another will come as you continue to do these kinds of practices. If you're holding on to something in particular, during forgiveness practice, when we talk about ways that we've harmed another or ways that somebody has harmed us, I invite you to choose somebody that's easy. So don't go to, you know, something that has happened is really, really deep. Like, I want to forgive this person who I've never, ever been able to forgive, and I'm really holding on to it. Start with somebody that's easy, something small that just happened. Maybe you had a little interaction with a dear one and you're feeling a little bit off with that, a friend or living companion, or start where it's easiest. And there may be multiple people that you wish you could either ask for forgiveness from or want to offer forgiveness for them. And it can be helpful to at least think about just focusing on one. If it feels that when we're doing the meditation that your heart is opened and you really feel like you've forgiven that person, or and somebody else arises, then you can do that. You can move to that person, but it can be helpful to just keep it to be one person and to appreciate that you have a heart that has forgiven that person, and then just sit in that part of the meditation and appreciate the gift that you've given yourself and that relationship. Okay. So I'm going to, let's see. Okay. I'm going to do a little chant that I just learned. So I'm not so good at the second part of it, so I think I'm just going to do the first part of it, but it really spoke to me. It's by an artist. Her name is Ally Halpert, and it's called Loosen, Loosen. And the idea of this chant is to help us to let go, to loosen ourselves up so that we can forgive. So I invite you to just sit back and relax, listen to the chant, and then I will take us into a good 25 to 30 minutes of forgiveness meditation. And I'll bring us out with the bell, which I do have close by. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. So take a nice breath in, filling up the lungs, and let it go. If the eyes aren't closed and you feel comfortable, you can close them gently or softly. Gaze somewhere that will not draw your attention. And as you take the next breath in, gathering the attention into the body and exhaling and noticing the body release. As we forgive, we are both softening the heart and also drawing upon the courage to forgive. So Roshi Joan Halifax gives us this beautiful intention of breathing in, softening the front of the body, love and compassion, and breathing out and feeling the strength of the back that holds us and gives us courage to meet the challenges of our days. Breathing in, softening the front of the body, and breathing out and feeling the strength of the back and the spine that holds us. And just relaxing into your own natural breath rhythm. Feeling the breath flow in and flow out of you. And setting a personal intention, a kavana, maybe something like, I release, and fill in the blank, whatever it is that you want to release. Or I open to whatever is arising in you, to open to being present, a new experience, or something specific. Or I intend to, maybe that's something like, allow myself some moments of forgiveness. And we start with the body. As we breathe in, noticing the breath coming in and the breath as we let go. And breathing in and receiving and exhaling and softening. Noticing how we're sitting, the pressure on our sits bones or our low back or our mid back. And just inviting in all the sensations in the body. You can do a little body scan if you want, from the top of the head, scanning down. What are you noticing? What feels tight or has pain or challenge? What parts do you gloss over? They're relatively neutral. And what parts maybe feel joyous, cool air on the skin, noticing the breath filling up the lungs. And as we do this 3-part meditation, as the mind wanders, as it will naturally, bringing yourself back to noticing the breath coming in and the breath going out, and seeing if you can let go of thoughts that are not the focus of the meditation. And we start with asking for forgiveness, intending to forgive someone else for their actions, their behavior, some way that we're still holding on to, that we're bringing past hurt and pain into our present experience. So see if someone arises, someone that's easy, but some little way that I haven't really let go of that. I'm not yet fully letting go of that pain. And notice in your mind, what are the thoughts? What's the story that you're telling yourself? Didn't they know how difficult life is right now for me? They're kind of like that. I'm always this, or whatever it is that we tell ourselves. Recognizing that these are just our thoughts, and they do reinforce and keep us attached to not forgiving. But we first have to notice, what is it that we are saying in our minds? And therefore, what are we holding in our hearts? And so, as you have a person hopefully come to mind, and if not, do this and maybe somebody will come to mind. Focus your breath, focus your mind, focus your attention on the heart area. See if you can actually feel the feeling tone of your heart around this person, or around a sense of something that you want to let go of. And let yourself really feel the barrier, the protection that you've put up around your heart in order to not be hurt, in order to not feel even deeper pain. How the heart wants to be loved and seen. How we want to be acknowledged for the beautiful spirit that we are. And when someone doesn't see that, the pain that's there. And so we honor both the barrier that came up to protect the heart and the pain that our heart is holding when someone does something to us, says something, has a tone of voice that doesn't feel in alignment with the love that we wish for from them. And pose this question to yourself. An answer may arise or not. What am I holding on to out of my own fear and pain? Am I holding on to being right in this situation and that person being wrong? Am I holding on to having had similar interactions with this person before? Whatever it is that you notice that you're holding on to, just notice it. And if it doesn't have a word, concept to it, that's fine. Feel the protection that you have put up that also creates a barrier. And now we begin the process of letting go. So breathing softly and gently into the heart area. Ask yourself, invite yourself to let go of the pain. Keep breathing into the heart, asking yourself to soften the barrier, to let the heart come out more fully, to let it be vulnerable. And from the place of the heart that's softening and opening, in whatever way feels right, an embodied way or with words, with a felt sense or an image, extend the softness of the heart out towards that person or that group, or just the sense of hurt that's been caused by another. And invite the heart to forgive that person, to forgive, to let go. To send loving kindness, wishes of wellness. And feel and sense what that feels like in the body as you do that. Some people find using a phrase can be helpful. So you may want to say these words or something like this to yourself. There are ways that I've been harmed by you or by others, knowingly or unknowingly, that have caused me pain and suffering. I've carried this pain in my heart too long, and I wish to let it go. And to the extent that I'm ready, I offer them forgiveness. I offer forgiveness to anyone that has caused me harm. I forgive you. The exact words don't matter. It's the intending the heart and the spirit towards compassion and love and forgiveness. So take a few minutes to do that for the person or the group or the people that came to mind for you. And while we can always return to this area of forgiveness at any time, we also can move to the next area of forgiveness. Forgiving yourself to harm that you have caused yourself. So the way to think about this is, how are you tough on yourself? It may have been because you didn't respond to somebody else in the way that you wanted to. It may have been, or it may be, having expectations of perfection or close to perfection. Whatever arises to you as to how you might want to let go. See what arises for you. And we start by breathing gently into the heart. Breathing in and feeling the heart. Maybe expanding as we breathe in and breathing out and feeling the heart soften. And breathing in and breathing out in the heart area. And as you breathe in, notice any barriers of protection that are around the heart in the way that you are with yourself. And feeling that pain, that hardness in your body, any emotion or resentment that you're carrying around about wishing that you were other than the way that you are, or some way that you haven't forgiven yourself. First feeling it in the heart, in the body. asking yourself, what am I holding on to out of my own fear and pain? And seeing what arises in response to that question. And as we breathe softly into the heart, asking yourself to let go, to let down that hard barriers, to let the heart be turned towards yourself, to forgive yourself for any way that you're tough on yourself. And as you breathe in, feeling the heart expand and soften towards you, this sacred human being that is you, this imperfect human being that is you, allowing the love and compassion that flows so much easier to someone else to flow to yourself. And if words speak to you now, I will offer a few. If not, just stay in that place of love and compassion for yourself, forgiving yourself. But you may want to silently repeat these words to yourself. There are many ways that I have hurt and harmed myself. I have abandoned myself in times, knowingly or unknowingly, through my thoughts, words, or actions. I carried this pain in my heart too long, and I wish to let it go. For the ways I have hurt myself, I now extend my full forgiveness. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. So take another minute of forgiveness and letting go towards yourself. And we'll move into a last area of forgiveness. Forgiveness for any way that we're still holding on to in a way that we may have caused harm to another. So bring to mind someone that you may have caused pain to by your actions, words, or thoughts. And even just our thoughts, if we don't speak them or act on them, they do affect us and affect others around us. So notice any thoughts or the story in your mind about that interaction, that relationship, that person. And gently breathe into the heart area, centering the attention in the heart. And as you breathe in, think about softening the heart. And as you breathe out, think about softening the heart. Notice and feel any heaviness of a barrier or protection, anything that you're feeling around this relationship, this person that you're holding in your heart. Feeling the pain of carrying around that burden. And breathing softly into the heart. Ask yourself to let go. Forgive yourself for any way that you were not your most skillful. With each breath, letting go, recognizing your humanity. And you may want to say these words silently to yourself. There are ways that I have harmed you or others, knowingly or unknowingly, through my thoughts, deeds, or words. I have carried this pain in my heart too long. And I wish to let it go. For the ways I have hurt you or others, I ask for forgiveness. So as we leave our time with the live stream and the recording, I want to just say two things. One is this is a very deep practice and it's can be very challenging. And I actually messed up the order. Usually the forgiveness for self is third, because it's can somewhat be hard to forgive ourselves for the ways that we're not kind to ourselves. So if you're going to do this, see what it's like to forgive others in the way that they've harmed you. Forgive ways that you've harmed somebody else, and then forgive yourself for ways that, I think I said that right, ways that you've harmed yourself. Forgive others for what they did to you. Forgive yourself for what you did to them, and forgive yourself for any way that you have harmed yourself. That's usually the order. And I invite you to reflect on a prompt. If I truly forgave myself, I would, and fill that in. Or if I truly felt like I gave forgiveness and I was forgiven, I would. So that's just something to help you reflect on. And the divine in me salutes the divine in you. For those of us that are leaving us now, we'd say, B'Tselem Yah, you are made in the image of God.